Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review, and today let's talk about the future of the Xbox brand. So there's been a lot of movement over the course of the last few weeks surrounding Microsoft and more specifically the Xbox brand, like I said in my intro. And a couple of people have been touching on this idea, and the more I've been thinking about it with this news coming out, the more I'm starting to think that there may be something to this. Are we in a situation where Microsoft and Phil Spencer might be slowly preparing to completely drop the Xbox brand from Microsoft as a gaming division? Now, these talks have been happening for a while. We know leading into the Xbox One's life in this 8th generation, there were discussions on whether or not it had proven to be profitable enough, and if actually it's just kind of been a money sink for Microsoft, and they have to continually put more money in advertisement and in marketing and investments into the Xbox brand than they've been getting back. That it's basically been something that's been more losing them money than making money, even when the Xbox brand has been successful. And through that, people have wondered, does it make sense for the Xbox to exist? Will Microsoft either phase it out altogether, or more realistically, would they sell it to somebody else? I think that was the running theory for a while, and even I thought there might have been some truth to that, where what they would have considered doing was just straight up selling the Xbox brand outright to some other third-party company. Well, moving ahead a couple of years from that idea, what we're looking at now is a couple of events that have played out over the last month or so that are really making it seem like there is the potential. This is certainly not a slam dunk. This is a theory a few people have talked about, and now I'm starting to kind of ruminate about it a little bit. Is the theory or the idea that Microsoft might actually be, instead of selling off the Xbox brand, maybe phasing it out or ending the Xbox gaming division as soon as this cycle and this generation ends with the Xbox One. So what's been happening? A couple of obvious things that you more than likely know about, but I'm going to run by just a few of these really short bullet points for you guys. The number one thing that I've been kind of ruminating on these last few days, and I know a lot of people have as well, it's been huge news, was Microsoft not only canceling the development of Fable Legends, which was a game I don't think anyone really cared about. Even as a Fable fan, I was super not interested in that game. So we, of course, had them cancel Fable Legends, but then they also completely shut down Lionhead Studios, which is one of their offshoot second party / first party kind of studios. It was an internal Microsoft division as far as I understand, and they straight up closed it down at the same time that they decided to cancel Fable Legends. And that was something that most of the employees had no idea were coming. As I understand it, even a lot of employees of Lionhead, I believe, were kind of learning about the closure of the studio and the loss of their job as the press was releasing it, as they were getting social media updates and probably texts from friends and reading articles on Kotaku and IGN. I mean, that's just really crazy and super unfortunate and very, very, very sad. But through that, there's been a couple of other smaller studio closures internally within Microsoft Press Play Studios. Maybe it's too early for me to be talking. Too much alliteration. I can't say these words all together. So, Press Play Studios and a couple of other internal smaller ones, Microsoft has all shut down in the last week or two alongside Lionhead Studios, which is a very big and well-known studio, and their fairly high-profile Fable Legends game. So that's kind of a big deal, especially for a huge company like Microsoft that even regardless of however much money the Xbox division may make or lose, still does very well. Microsoft is a huge company that generates massive profits on a large scale, far and above beyond what just the Xbox brand brings into the company. So why would they be shutting these studios down? It's very, very strange. Now, there's a couple of other things. One of the other big things that some folks have been talking about are a lot of the exclusive content, the exclusive games and titles and content coming to the Xbox One is really no longer showing up to be exclusive. When you look at the fact that they could only lock up 1 year of exclusivity for Rise of the Tomb Raider, which they probably would have preferred for that to be, a lifetime exclusive. But even more notably than that, Quantum Break, Gears of War, first-party huge titles like those are now coming to the PC. There's even rumors that Sunset Overdrive, which was an exclusive a year or two ago, a freaking fantastic game, is also going to be coming to the PC soon. And then there's even rumors about Halo 5, actually, and that might even be confirmed, to tell you the truth. So you guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I believe Halo 5 is either rumored to be coming to PC or is even already confirmed. Regardless, it kind of throws more fuel on the fire of Microsoft not feeling confident and not willing to take the time and pay the money and have the patience to leave these quality first-party games that should be used to help promote and sell the Xbox One exclusive. They seem to be willing to bring them to the PC, and I'm not even going to entirely fault them for that. I mean, I made a video discussing this recently with the whole Quantum Break thing. I kind of think, I was sad that Quantum Break isn't remaining exclusive because I think exclusives are the heart and soul of the console industry, but it makes sense. More people will get to play it because it's a brand new, unproven franchise, and as I also discussed, because Microsoft owns the Windows brand and the Windows OS and Windows 10, which is now working with, Windows operating systems, Windows phones, and even the Xbox One as its dashboard, it's like they they sort of are the PC market at the same time, I think is a way to put it. Not only do they own the Xbox brand, but they also are a huge part, not the only part, but a huge part of the PC market. So of course, in so many ways, it makes sense for some of their games to still be available on the PC, and I don't think it's as detrimental as a game like Quantum Break showing up on Sony or Nintendo's consoles. It's kind of like a shared space that Microsoft has when it comes to PC and Windows 10. It's not exactly direct competition, but it is splitting the fan base. It's splitting the gaming market. It definitely qualifies as no longer exclusive to the Xbox One. And it's the kind of thing that shows that they're not really that confident and dedicated to keeping these quality games exclusive and committing to the idea of the Xbox One and the content that's supposed to be available to it. Now, the other thing, this is the brand new information as of today. I just saw an article on Facebook that was posted actually from Player Essence, and it was very, very interesting news. And I don't even know 100% the validity of that, so I'll give you of this news, but I'll let you guys know that as I kind of discuss it. I'm pretty sure that this is completely confirmed, though. Apparently, they are now creating a crossplay feature. Microsoft is creating a crossplay feature between both the Xbox One and Windows 10 PC OS, which again, Windows 10 is also what now runs and operates the Xbox One as well, so they're meant to kind of be integrated and talk to each other. And through this Windows 10 crossplay feature, not only can the same game available for both the Xbox One and the PC play together, but the infrastructure apparently supports the ability to play with other non-Microsoft product units, such as the PlayStation 4. That was the one that was most named throughout this quick little piece of news in this short article, is the PlayStation 4. Apparently, they could also create titles that you could play between both console user bases. And I think that a version of Rocket League or a new update for Rocket League or something is going to be the first title to actually use this. Again, according to this article that was just posted today, I don't know the complete validity of it, but it seems like it's pretty legit news. So assuming it is as legit as it sounds, that means that we will have the first title very soon that allows both PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and even, PC Windows 10 users to play the same game together. And I have to say that for the most part, that is pretty cool. Like, I actually think that's a pretty cool thing. I still like the idea of keeping the console user bases separate in a way that kind of, commits to what that console is supposed to do and helps build up the user bases. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't think that breaking down those walls of playing online isn't a cool thing, because I do think that in many ways it is a cool thing. I don't know that I really have a preference on if people should stay separate or if people should be able to play together. I haven't thought enough about it to really put my stake on one side or the other there. But at the end of the day, as far as the technology aspect and the ability to allow people to do more things, I think it's neat to know that that is something that might become possible more often with the advent of this crossplay feature that Microsoft is rolling out. I'm sure at some point Nintendo could even be thrown into the mix, and maybe everyone could be playing together, which kind of defeats the purpose of owning different consoles, but it's cool at the same time, like I said. So I don't know, there's pros and cons there. Regardless, this is a Microsoft initiative. This is their plan. This is their baby. And there's even a specific name for this crossplay feature, which, again, I literally read this article and then I turned my shit on to record for you guys. So I'm now not remembering that. I could probably pull it up here. Let me see if I can get it. Anyway, as I do that, it's a Microsoft initiative, and it's something that kind of tells me, alongside with this idea of all these exclusives to the Xbox One that are slowly rolling over and becoming available on the PC as well, and the closure of all these studios internally in the Microsoft gaming division, including a big studio like Lionhead and their big game, I kind of wonder if some of these discussions people have been having might be true, that maybe Microsoft is considering stopping the Xbox brand altogether. Now, my theory, when I look at all these pieces of information and I put it all together and I consider the crossplay thing and like they're opening up the avenue to be able to, have gamers game on other platforms. The fact that they're creating an avenue for you to play on a PlayStation 4 and potentially Nintendo's products through Microsoft branded hardware is that's a pretty big sign to me. It could mean nothing. So please, no one freak out and jump down my throat. If you got to do it, I guess you got to do it. It is the internet. But what I want to remind you is I don't know that this is the case. This isn't something I think is 100%, and I don't want this to be true too. It should be noted, I love my Xbox One. PC gaming is great as it is. Xbox One is great as it is. I don't need to see any one of them go away. I really enjoy my Xbox One a lot. It just is awesome, so I don't want it to go away. But again, my theory, kind of falling in line with what a lot of other people have been talking about, if they're creating this avenue to play on the competition's hardware and all these exclusives that most other companies would hold on to say, yes, this is why you should buy our console because of this exclusive and this exclusive and this exclusive, and they're taking a lot of these and they're putting them on another platform. Yes, it's PC, but it still counts as another platform, and gamers who would want to play Quantum Break and Gears of War and might consider buying an Xbox One will say, I got a great PC, I don't need to buy an Xbox One now because I can play these games on my PC. It could very likely and probably will likely prevent people from buying an Xbox One, which should be Microsoft's number one goal with that console, right? Like, that's kind of the thing that they should focus on, but they're willing to take these games and divide the user base, and then closing these studios. I really think that what they're doing is, and there's a whole nother thing. I'm so glad I remembered to talk about this, you guys, is Phil Spencer's discussion about kind of creating the Xbox One to be more of a PC. And the idea of making it upgradable in the future. Now, that's a whole nother video I want to talk about. So I won't go into detail on that here because there's an element of that could mean Microsoft is more dedicated to the Xbox One. And there's an element of that where I think they might be preparing people to just play on PCs as opposed to an Xbox One. So that is going to be a whole nother video sometime, so don't even pay attention to that. But anyway, it's another thing to throw onto this list here. I think that they're slowly preparing people, potentially, this may be what they're doing, to stop having an Xbox. When the Xbox One life is said and done, I do think they're dedicated to completing the Xbox One life cycle. I need to kind of add that here. I know my thoughts are all over the place, guys, so thanks for bearing with me. There's a lot going on here I was really excited to get on and talk about, and I didn't even organize my thoughts before I started doing this, actually. I typed up 3 bullet points, and I fucking pressed record, and I'm going. So I do think that they will be, committing to the Xbox One for whatever full life it has, as long as it makes sense and it's monetarily feasible for them to continue to support it and have games and make it their primary console. I think that it will have its full life. I think that the Xbox One will continue to go until when the 8th generation is ending and the PlayStation 4 is waning and probably the NX is waning too. I think the NX is going to tie itself into the end of the PS4 and Xbox One life cycle. So I think all 3 consoles will be kind of fading out in the next 5 or so years like normal. And at that time, when we'd be hearing about a new Nintendo console and a PlayStation 5 and whatever, and we would maybe expect to hear about an Xbox 2 or an Xbox 78 5XY, that's when we might hear Microsoft is not releasing another console. It's they're just going to focus on their PC stuff. I think that that's very potentially what some of this stuff could mean. Now, like I said, it's pretty possible, if not 50-50 or even more so, that really none of this stuff means that. And not like I'm trying to waste your time with my theory or this video, but I think it's important to explore both sides. And not only do I not want this to happen because I love my Xbox One and I like the Xbox brand, I want all 3 to continue for a long time. Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, all 3 of you guys, just keep going. But not only do I not want this to happen, it certainly is still incredibly likely that these are just all things that are happening naturally and organically with the gaming industry, and they don't have anything to do with the waning success of the Xbox brand. I think that part of the reason some people might have started this conversation is people get so caught up in the first place in a console race and who's selling the best, and the other 2 guys are just complete dog shit and failures just because they're not number 1. And as I've said so many times, it's been a while, but I've said this so many times, that it's not necessarily about the place, it's about the individual success of whatever console you're looking at. So we can even look at the Wii U, which has been a failure in the sense that it hasn't sold nearly as well as it should have. It's a failure in terms of hard numbers. 13 million units in 4 years, that is not good. My last video, I talked all about the Wii U and people perceiving it as a failure. But at the same time, somehow Nintendo is still managing a small profit there, so at least Nintendo can say that they're not drowning in the failure of the Wii U. They're still showing up in the black, and that's pretty cool. The Xbox One, sure, it hasn't sold 35 million units like the PlayStation 4 has, but 20 million units and 2 coming up on 3 years, that's pretty damn good. And I don't know what the profit margin looks like there. They're probably losing money on every unit sold, but they're selling a lot of software, and 20 million units in a couple of years is still very good. And it's going to finish out at a good 50 or some odd, maybe even more units. The Xbox One, even coming in at second place when all is said and done, will still be seen as a successful console. Not a breakout, record-breaking smash success like the PlayStation 4, but that's okay. You only get so many PlayStation 2s and Wiis and PlayStation 4s. You just don't get that very often, so it's okay for the PS4 to be the crazy success. Xbox One can be just a moderate, average, everyday success, and that is completely okay. So because of that, these things, as negative as they may be, don't necessarily spell doom for the Xbox brand, like Microsoft might be getting ready to get rid of it. But I also don't think that I don't think that they're something that we shouldn't be paying attention to either. They still have the potential to be signs. The fact that they're all happening at the same time sort of feels like Microsoft might be grooming gamers to be prepared to no longer have an Xbox console in the future. So regardless, I'll cut it here because otherwise I'm going to go into that whole Xbox One PC upgrade thing, and that really should be a different video. But those are my thoughts. I know I was all over the place, like I said. I really was winging this video with very few notes. But I do want to hear your guys' thoughts. As always, please tell me what you think about what's going on. What do you think about all this kind of negative press that's sort of happening here? And the crossplay thing isn't being spun as negative. But shutting down studios, people losing jobs, canceling games, and exclusive going multi-platform, those are negative things. And they're all happening kind of just in real quick succession, all these different things these last couple months or so. And it's just very curious. You know, I hope that it really means nothing and it's all just coincidence and it's just really Microsoft making way for other great things for the Xbox One in the near future, which is very likely. E3 will probably be a very telling time. So tell me if you guys see these bullet points as potential that Microsoft is getting ready to leave the Xbox behind, or do you think it means nothing and it's just kind of random news and it is what it is? Either way, I think it's a fun discussion to have, which of course is why I always like to make a video and discuss it with you guys. So share your thoughts below. Thanks as always for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of 2 Review, and I will of course catch you next time on another video.